Los Angeles, October 1972. The gym smells of leather and sweat. The wooden floor has darkened over the years, absorbing thousands of training sessions. On the walls are posters with hieroglyphs, framed photographs, and diplomas. In the center of one wall, occupying a place of honor, the name is written in large characters: Jeet Kune. Master Victor Chan moves around the hall like a man who hasn't needed to prove himself to anyone for a long time. He is 42 years old. Wide shoulders, a heavy stance, hands that know how to do things there is no need to brag about. He circled the hall twice, as if inspecting an estate, because this is his estate. 12 students stand in 3 rows waiting. They come here 3 times a week. They don't come because the gym is cheap. In 1972 Los Angeles, there is no shortage of cheap martial arts schools. They come because Victor Chan is the best Jeet Kune instructor in the city. He says so himself. Seldom does anyone dare to object. He opened the school in 1969. He studied under a student of Bruce Lee. He says this himself, too, though the details of this training grow increasingly hazy as his reputation expands. There are many certificates on the wall. Questions about their origins grow fewer and fewer. Today is an ordinary Tuesday. Training starts in 20 minutes. The bell above the door jingled. Victor Chan didn't turn around immediately. That, too, is part of who he is. He turns when he decides to turn. When he finally looked at the door, a man of short stature was standing there. Lightweight, no more than 63 kilograms if his eyes didn't lie, dressed simply. A dark t-shirt, dark trousers, and thin-rimmed glasses. He stood at the threshold looking at the hall with an expression Chan couldn't immediately classify. Not admiration, not curiosity. Something else, something that slightly irritated him, though he couldn't explain why. "We don't accept new students without an appointment," Chan said, without moving from his spot. The man nodded. His voice turned out to be quiet but distinct. "I understand. I just wanted to look at the gym, if you'll allow it." The accent was barely perceptible, Cantonese or Hong Kong. Chan narrowed his eyes. "Do you practice?" "A little," the visitor replied. One of the students chuckled. "A little." In this gym, it sounded like an apology. Victor Chan made a broad gesture with his hand. "Come on in," it implied, a generous and slightly patronizing gesture, exactly the kind he liked to make in front of his students. "I allow it. I decide who enters." The visitor walked in. He moved quietly, carelessly, not tensely, just quietly. He scanned the room slowly with his eyes, as if reading something on the walls, and stopped in front of the poster with the hieroglyphs. "Jeet Kune," he pronounced, "the way of the intercepting fist." "Exactly," Chan said, stepping closer. "Do you know what it is?" "I've heard a few things." "Heard a few things?" Chan repeated. He smiled without malice, rather patiently. It was the kind of smile reserved for children who say words they don't understand the meaning of. "All right, then I will explain. Jeet Kune is not just a style. It is not a set of techniques. It is a philosophy of combat created by the greatest master of our time. A system that frees the fighter from the shackles of tradition." The visitor listened, not nodding, just listening. "And you teach this system now?" he asked. "Exactly so. 3 years here. Before that, years of practice." Chan paused. "Do you have experience in martial arts?" "I do." "In what style?" The visitor slowly took off his glasses, folded them, and put them in his pocket. "In various ones." Another chuckle from the ranks of the students. Chan did not stop it. He didn't have to. The students' laughter was working in his favor right now. "In various ones," he repeated. "That is a common mistake. People try a little bit of everything and think it makes them universal. In reality, it makes them nobody." He paused, letting the words sink in. In Jeet Kune, there is a concept of freeing oneself from style. But that doesn't mean chaotically mixing whatever comes to hand. It means going through the system, understanding its foundation, and only then. "Freeing oneself," the visitor finished. Chan stopped. "Exactly," he said more cautiously. The visitor looked back at the hieroglyphs on the wall. "But if there is a system, doesn't that contradict liberation?" The silence in the hall shifted. The students exchanged glances. Victor Chan straightened up. It wasn't a bad question. He had heard it before. He had a practiced, convincing answer ready. "The system is a ladder," he said. "You climb it, and then you cast it aside. But first, you must climb it. You cannot cast aside what you do not possess." "Logical," said the visitor. "But what if the ladder itself leads to the wrong place?" Victor Chan looked at him more closely. Something about this man was beginning to annoy him. Not hostility, no, rather the absence of the usual response. People who came here for the first time behaved predictably. They admired, they listened, they agreed. This one did not. Perhaps you would like to watch the training session? Chan suggested. It's better than any words. With pleasure. If you are watching this right now, it means something in this story has already caught your attention. Perhaps you already know how it ends, perhaps not. Right. One word in the comments. What do you think the man in the glasses is feeling right now? And don't delete your comments when the story ends. It will be interesting to compare. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, do it now. Stories like this are released only for those who are here. The line is shorter. The training began. Victor Chan worked with the students and worked well. It had to be admitted. He knew the technique. The foundational stance of Jeet Kune. A right-side combat position, the lead hand forward, closer to the opponent, ready for an immediate strike or interception. A straight punch, not circular, not winding up, but linear along the shortest trajectory. Economy of motion, intercepting on a collision course. He explained clearly, demonstrated precisely, and corrected immediately. The visitor stood by the wall and watched, completely still. Occasionally, Chan threw a glance at him. The man observed with the same indefinable expression, not admiration, not boredom. Something resembling a very deep, very quiet attention. After 20 minutes, Chan called over his senior student, a tall guy named Ray, around 85 kilograms, fast for his weight. Let's show our guest, Chan said. The demonstration was well rehearsed. Ray attacked. Chan intercepted, redirected, controlled. The movements were smooth and confident. The students watched with their customary respect. The visitor watched. When they finished, Chan turned to the guest. Questions? 1, said the visitor. When you intercepted his hand, why did you step to the side instead of forward? Chan blinked. Because a lateral evasion creates an angle for a counterattack. But a direct forward movement neutralizes his force faster. The line is shorter. The hall fell silent. Theoretically, Chan said, but in practice. Would you like to try? It sounded simple, not like a challenge, just an offer. Nevertheless, Victor Chan felt something he didn't know how to name. Not a threat, but rather an incongruity. This man weighed no more than 63 kilograms. He came to look at the gym, said he practiced a little. And yet, of course, Chan said. Ray, stand opposite our guest. The visitor walked out to the center of the hall without fuss, without a warm-up. He stood. And in the way he stood, something changed in the space of the room. Not a pose, not a threat, just presence. Ray was 22 kilograms heavier. Attack, the visitor said calmly, as if asking someone to pass the salt. Ray looked at Chan. Chan nodded. Ray attacked. A straight punch, fast, well executed, exactly the way Chan had taught. What happened in the following seconds was later described differently by the students. Some said the visitor simply shifted. Not stepped back, but shifted by a fraction of a centimeter, and the blow passed by as if through thin air. Some said he moved forward, straight into the attack, which seemed impossible. Some said he didn't move at all, and the punch somehow missed its target on its own. The result was the same. Ray's hand was softly, effortlessly deflected to the side. The visitor stood 30 centimeters away from him. His right hand was 5 centimeters from Ray's throat. An open palm, not a fist. Ray froze. Silence filled the hall. The visitor lowered his hand. The line is shorter, he said quietly, almost softly. Victor Chan stood motionless. Something deep inside him, something he wouldn't dare name aloud, began to understand. Again, he said. Ray attacked again, faster this time. He was no longer holding back. Then again. Then a combination, left, right, left again. Every time, the same thing happened, but not in the same way. Each time was different. One movement forward, one to the side, one pause with no movement at all. The blow passed into a void, as if the person wasn't there. And each time, an open palm somewhere near the point where the defense ended. Ray stopped. He was breathing heavier than he should have been after such exchanges. Chan stepped closer. Where did you train? He asked. His voice had changed, no longer patronizing, just different. In various places, the visitor repeated. That's not an answer. No, the visitor agreed. It's not an answer. He added nothing more. Chan looked at him, then at the students who were frozen in anticipation. Then back at this slight man standing before him with a completely calm face. as if nothing special had happened. "Tell me," the visitor said. "You said that Jeet Kune was created by the greatest master of our time. Did you mean a specific person?" "Bruce Lee," Chan said. "Naturally. Have you met him?" A brief, almost unnoticeable pause. "I studied under his student." "I see." The visitor nodded. "And you feel that you understand what he wanted when he created this?" Victor Chan felt a prick, sharp, unpleasant. Not an insult, but worse, a question to which he had no convincing answer, and he knew it. "I practice this every day," he said. "I have been teaching for 3 years. I think I understand." "Enough." "Enough for what?" Chan stopped. "To pass it on to others." The visitor nodded slowly, as if weighing something invisible. "You know," he said finally, "when I first started thinking about what would later be called Jeet Kune, it seemed to me that the main mistake people make with any martial art is that they start teaching it before they understand exactly what cannot be taught in it." The silence in the hall became different, not confused, but tense like the air before a thunderstorm, when nothing has happened yet, but the body already knows it. Victor Chan looked at him. "What do you mean?" he asked slowly. "I mean that you teach the technique well. What I saw, the parries are correct, the stance, the interception, the angle, all correct." The visitor paused. "But technique is not what I was trying to create. Technique is form. I was trying to create a space in which form ceases to be necessary." Chan slowly, very slowly, repeated what he had just heard to himself. "I was trying to create." "Who are you?" he whispered, already knowing the answer, or beginning to know. The visitor pulled his glasses from his pocket, put them on, and looked at Chan. "My name is Bruce Lee." Be water, many years would pass, and some of those who were in that gym on that Tuesday in October 1972 would tell stories about this moment. Each would remember it in their own way. Some would remember the silence that fell, some the face of Victor Chan, others what happened next. But all of them would agree on one thing. It was a moment for which one could not prepare, because no technique exists for it. Victor Chan didn't move. At 42 years old, you don't faint, you don't scream, but inside, something rearranges itself very quickly and very painfully, like a bone being set back into place. "That's impossible," he said, not as a denial, but as an attempt to gather facts. Nevertheless, Bruce Lee looked at him calmly, without triumph. It was this lack of triumph that was the hardest part. It would have been easier if he were smiling, if he were enjoying it. That could be rejected. "Are you here to close my school?" Chan asked. His voice sounded steady, but something in it betrayed the effort that steadiness cost him. "No, I told you." Bruce Lee smiled. "Yes, I am here by chance. I was passing by, saw the sign, and walked in by accident. I walk a lot." A pause. "Could you have told me from the very beginning who you were?" "I could have." Bruce Lee looked at him. "But then you would see not what I see, but what you wanted to show me. Those are different things." Victor Chan closed his eyes. "Open them." He was a professional. He knew how to control himself. "And what did you see?" Bruce Lee walked slowly across the hall, stopped in front of the poster with the hieroglyphs, and looked at it for a long time, as one looks at something of their own, written long ago, encountered in a foreign place. "I saw a man who knows how to do what I did, but doesn't understand why I did it." He turned around. "That's not an insult. It is the most common thing in the world. Most people who talk about me do the same thing." "Then explain." Something in Chan changed. The rigidity was gone. Something else remained, something resembling a thirst. "Explain what I don't understand." Bruce Lee was silent for a moment. "When I created this," he said finally, "I wasn't creating a style. I was destroying style. I wanted to remove everything superfluous, tradition, ritual, form for the sake of form. To leave only what works here and now, with this specific person against this specific opponent." "I know that," Chan said. "That's how I teach." "No." Bruce Lee's voice was soft, but it was a softness born not of compromise but of precision. "You teach my answers. But Jeet Kune is not answers. It is the ability to ask the right questions." Chan stared at him. "The difference is immense. My answers existed at a specific moment against a specific person in a specific context. If you teach these people my answers, you are preparing them for my situations, which they will never face." Bruce Lee looked at the students, one by one, as if seeing each individual. Each of them is different. Everyone has their own body, their own speed, their own history. What works for me will be a mistake for some of them. The hall was so quiet that the street noise outside the window could be heard. Distant, indifferent, as the street always is when something important is happening inside. "Then what do you teach?" asked one of the students, a young man of about 20 from the front row. He asked quietly, almost apologizing for interrupting. Bruce Lee turned to him. "The ability to see," he said. "Yourself, the opponent, the moment. Not a fixed technique, living perception." He paused. "Do you know why the best boxer in the world cannot teach you to be the best boxer in the world? Because he can only teach you how he became the best boxer. And you are not him." The student nodded slowly. Victor Chan stood motionless. Something inside him was sorting through words, like sorting through belongings after a fire, finding out what survived. "So," he began. "It doesn't mean you are doing something meaningless," Bruce Lee said. "Technique is important. The body must know the movement, but that is the beginning of the journey, not its end. Many who call themselves masters of Jeet Kune have stopped on the ladder and declared that the ladder is the summit." Chan was silent for a long time. "I taught people for 3 years, he said finally. "I thought that." He didn't finish the sentence. "That you understood?" Bruce Lee finished for him quietly. "Yes, that's understandable. Understanding is a very seductive thing. It gives peace." A pause. "I don't understand everything I'm trying to do myself. To be honest, every day I find something that refutes yesterday's conclusions. It's uncomfortable. It never ends." He smiled slightly. "But it's the only way not to stop." Chan looked at him, long and directly. "Did you come here to tell me this?" "I came by chance. I stayed because your students deserve more than a copy." Silence. What does more mean? It means a teacher who continues to learn himself, who comes to them not with answers but with questions, who tomorrow will be different from today. Bruce Lee looked at the students again. "They will feel it. People always feel the difference between the living and the frozen. This channel is created for those who feel this difference. If it's important to you to understand not just what happened, but why it matters today, subscribe. There are no accidental videos here. Each story is chosen because it changes something in how you look at mastery." A different beginning. Victor Chan nodded slowly once. He no longer tried to argue. Not because he couldn't, but because he had heard something that made arguing unnecessary. "I have a question," he said. "Yes. If you cannot teach a person to be themselves, why did you open schools at all? Why take students?" Bruce Lee looked at him, and for the first time that evening, something resembling pleasure appeared in his eyes. Not triumph, but precisely the pleasure derived from a good question. "I didn't take students to make them like me," he said. "I wanted to help them find themselves. Those are different things." He paused. "Water does not teach the vessel its shape. It takes the shape of the vessel, yet it remains water." Chan exhaled slowly. "Be water." "Exactly," the young student from the front row said softly. "Did you write that somewhere?" "I thought about it for a long time," Bruce Lee said, before writing it. He reached for a light jacket he had left by the wall, zipped it up, and looked around the gym once more. At the wooden floor, at the posters, at the 12 people standing in silence. "Good gym," he said. "Good people." A pause. "Keep going." He turned and walked toward the door. "Bruce," Chan called out. He stopped without turning around. "If you hadn't walked in today, I would have kept going just as before." "I know. That is not good." "No," Bruce Lee agreed. "But it is fixable." He turned around. "The question you just asked yourself, that is the first real lesson of Jeet Kune. Not the technique, not the interception, but the willingness to see that something is wrong before anyone tells you." He opened the door. The bell jingled again. "Will you come again?" asked the young student from the front row. Bruce Lee was already standing in the doorway. He didn't answer immediately. He looked at him. "Keep training," he said finally. "Not for my sake, so that tomorrow you move differently than today." A pause. "If that happens, then I am not needed." The door closed. The bell fell silent. No one in the gym moved. Victor Chan stood in the center of the hall that had been his estate for 3 years, staring at the closed door. Then at the poster with the hieroglyphs, then at the students. He could have said something, explained it, gathered the event into words that would restore his authority. He said nothing. He simply sat down right on the floor, something completely uncharacteristic of Victor Chan, who never sat on the floor in the presence of students. He sat down the way people sit when something heavy they have been carrying for a long time suddenly becomes unnecessary. Not out of weakness, out of something else. The students looked at him. "Training is over," he said. "Go home, think about what you heard. Tomorrow we start again." He paused. Differently. What happened to Victor Chan after that evening is more difficult to speak of. Those who trained under him for a few more years describe a change that is hard to pin down with a specific word. He became a different teacher. Not worse, just different. He explained less, asked more, and more frequently admitted that he didn't know. It was uncomfortable for him and for some of the students who came specifically for definite answers. Those who found the discomfort suitable stayed. Those who needed fixed answers left for other schools. Chan said that was how it should be. Bruce Lee would die less than a year after that evening, on July 20th, 1973, in Hong Kong, at 32 years of age. He would not have enough time to finish everything he started. He would leave behind diaries, letters, notes, and questions that still haven't found a definitive answer. In one of his diaries, there is an entry presumably dating from that same period. The most dangerous man is the one who thinks he is no longer learning. He didn't write it about one specific person. He wrote it about everyone, about himself too. Jeet Kune is forbidden from being registered as a trademark. This is one of the few principles Bruce Lee documented legally. No one should have the right to own this name, because as soon as someone begins to own it, it ceases to be what he thought it was. Jeet Kune schools exist to this day, good, bad, and everywhere in between. In most of them, they teach what Bruce Lee did. In a few, they teach why. The difference between these two things is the whole story. There is a question that this story leaves open. Not about Bruce Lee, about you. Where are you passing on the form right now, thinking you are passing on the content? Where are you teaching with an answer when you should be teaching with a question? It could be work, parenting, friendship, any mastery you pass on to others or just to yourself. The hardest moment of this story is not when Bruce Lee revealed himself. The hardest moment is when Victor Chan sat down on the floor, because sitting down like that and admitting it is harder than any technique. Write in the comments what struck you more in this story. What Bruce Lee did, or what Victor Chan chose to do at the end. One answer speaks to how you think about strength. The other speaks to how you think about yourself. Both answers are correct, but they are different, and I will read each one. And finally, if you're not subscribed, subscribe now. Not because I'm asking, but because the next story is already ready, and you shouldn't miss it by chance. Every week, something comes out here that changes not what you know, but how you think. Until the next story.